Hello, welcome to Module 1, where we're looking at basics of computer, and we are looking at building e-competence in teacher education, basically for school administrators, teachers of all levels, brought to you by KAWA Uganda in partnership with the Ministry of Education and Makerere University Business School, which will provide an exam for those who will complete this course. And it has been prepared by a team of 4, namely Moses Wamanga from KAWA Uganda, former head of computer department in Ginger Says. It was also brought to you by Richard Wamboka from KAWA Uganda, and also senior lecturer of computer science and mathematics at Usitama University, Mr. Sylvester Adieli Luaka, lecturer in Chambog University, Department of Education, and Charles Olupot, Director, ICT Center, Makerere University Business School. Mine is to welcome you and thank you for attending this training. If you wish, it will change your life by turning you into a computer expert quickly. If you have been an expert already, it will turn you into a better expert. It is the only training where all computer concepts and the basics of computer have been explained very well. Now, this module provides a comprehensive introduction to ICT industry exposure to personal computers, hardware, software, and operating systems, and the main concepts of files and folders management. The curriculum we are using offers the following features and benefits. Those who attend this course will develop working knowledge of how computers operate, how to use computers in the workplace, especially in the classroom, and in any office. You'll be able to be very competent in using ICT in your school, in your management. Throughout the course, we encourage you to do a lot of practical work and hands-on practice with much accommodation of changing and emerging technologies in ICT. The course takes you through all the new technologies and what matters much more in the field of information communication technology. Are you new to using computers? Do you wonder what people mean when they say the cloud, Windows, BlackBerry, Lion, any computing, etc.? All those new terms, all that jargon used by ICT guys, they shouldn't challenge you. You are inside the thing. There is an opportunity for you that you learn as much as you can, and within a short time will be an ICT expert. Perhaps you would like just to know more about how computers work. When it comes to learning today's technology, this training has all the best for you and covers all the basic concepts. It also serves to promote scientific, technical, and cultural knowledge, skills, and attitudes needed for development, especially development of our country. Those who complete this course will be able to describe the internal components of a computer, assemble it, and install operating system, troubleshoot using system tools and diagnostic software. Teachers and other members who complete this course will also be able to connect to the internet and share resources in a network environment. Additional topics have been covered, including laptops, portable devices, wireless connectivity, and basic implementation skills, voice over the internet protocol, security, safety, environmental issues, applied network configuration, troubleshooting skills, and communication skills. That shouldn't threaten you. There's no much jargon. You'll get used to all these terms, and you'll be very, very confident in using your computer in all ways. So what you should take note is that digital literacy is having an increasingly important impact on individuals, communities, and societies as the world becomes more technologically dependent, and the information society and the knowledge economy become increasingly global. We are living in a global village, and we are living in a network. Kisubi Associated Writers Agency works with communities, local and regional authorities, governments, international stakeholders, non-government organizations, and other development-oriented organizations around the world to promote digital literacy, and to deliver ICT skills development across all key sectors of the economy. So that is what this organization believes in. So by the end of this course, each participant will have covered 7 modules. Module 1 is basics of ICT. Module 2, ICT in education. Module 3 is about word processing. Module 4 is about spreadsheets. Module 5 is about presentations using PowerPoint. Module 6 is about databases using Access, and Module 7 is about internet. Now, this tutorial, this opportunity is a wonderful invitation to you to join the ICT world and embrace the new pattern of development in education. You are a very important person. Do not make yourself a minus in the 21st century world. Now, this course was endorsed by the Minister of Education. Right from the beginning, you saw a video which involved the Minister of Education launching it together with the team from NASHU, the chairperson of NASHU, the secretary of NASHU, and the senior and the principal of Makerere University Business School, and many other officials attended the launch of this training. But there was also a write-up which came from the Commissioner of Secondary Education. He says that we cannot have ICT integration in teaching if teachers do not have ICT skills. It is for this reason that the Minister was convinced by the activities of KAWA team to develop ICT competence among teachers, ranging from digital storytelling to confronting technophobia. The Commissioner says that the education sector is crucial for developing the human capital of countries to innovate and find solutions for sustained and equitable growth. ICT can be used to improve the quality of education by enhancing educational content development, supporting administrative process in schools and other educational establishments, and increasing access to education for both teachers and pupils via distance learning. It offers opportunities for students and young people, particularly those living in rural communities, to broaden their horizons and improve their employment opportunities. To achieve this, the Ministry of Education and Sports is supporting not only secondary schools but tertiary. Very soon will be supporting primary schools, universities, and all institutions to integrate appropriate ICTs through a wide variety of educational projects that cover areas such as teacher training through continuous professional development (CPD), the creation of digital educational content, and the development of teaching materials, as well as use of ICT for efficiency in administration at school level. ICT skills enable teachers to use technology more effectively in teaching process, thus achieving educational goals more efficiently, and in doing so, saving time and increasing productivity in the classroom. Digital skills are also becoming increasingly important to teachers and teacher educators, and if they are to be able to utilize all available teaching resources and inform their students in an engaging and relevant way, ICT knowledge and digital skills will become indispensable teaching tools. Message from John M. Agaba, Commissioner of Secondary Education, Minister of Education and Sports, Uganda. Welcome again to topic 1, where we are looking at computers, getting to know computers better. They were asking a question at what is a computer. Even before you answer that question, try to understand that where you are part of a computer system. So you must understand yourself better. You must make sure that you are sitting in a better posture, breathing normally, doing some exercises, and feeling better, because health matters much more as you enter into the computer world. So the question comes up that what is a computer? How do you answer that? Any idea? Try to think of what definition do you come up with of what a computer is. Anyway, you can define it as an electronic device that manipulates information or data. A computer has the ability to store, retrieve, and process data. You can use a computer to type documents, send email, and surf the internet. You can also use the computer to handle spreadsheets, accounting, database, presentations, games. You can use it as a TV, you can use it as a radio. It is simply almost everything. A computer is any machine that can seem to be doing useful thinking. Of course, it's not a human being, but if you analyze what it does, you'll still agree with me that we can say that a computer is a machine that seems to be doing useful thinking. Today's computers spend most of their time analyzing words and ideas and very little mathematics. Even if you know just a little math, you can understand computers and use your computers very well. If you know that 5.2 is more than 5 and less than 6, then you have that better mathematics. That is enough mathematics to make you a computer expert. And this tutorial explains much better. So becoming a computer expert is much easier than even becoming an auto mechanic, or becoming a constructor, or becoming a professional in some other field. It is much easier, and of course it is cleaner and smarter. So why don't you join us and become a computer expert in a very short time using this course? You also may try to look at pictures of a computer, look at these pictures of a system unit, and also try to name those components which appear on a computer, the peripherals attached to a computer, like the system unit itself, the screen, the monitor, the speakers, the keyboard, the mouse. All those and make up the computer. A person that communicates with the computer or uses the computer most of the time, it generates the information for him. He uses it. That person is called an end user. There are also some terms that you need to understand. One is software. What is software? Software is a series of instructions that tell the hardware what tasks to perform, when to perform, and how to perform the tasks. Without software, hardware is basically useless. Hardware needs the instructions provided by the software in order to process data into information. Now, what is hardware? Hardware simply refers to the visible and tangible parts of a computer or physical pieces of equipment in a computer system. It is simply the assemblage of metallic and plastic components that make up the computer. The more memory and disk space a computer has, the more it can perform better. Let us also try to look at how a computer works. A computer is a fabulous instrument that turns human inputs into electronic information that it then can store or share through various output devices. You try to look at this. You try to look at these photographs and perhaps this picture, where it can help you to understand how a computer works. So a computer performs, of course, if instructed to do so, the steps shown in the diagram here, using information that a user provides, such as typed sentence. So if you type, that is input. You type and use a keyboard, or you click using a mouse, or you say a word using a microphone, it will go to processing stage. So the information is digitized, becoming a simple code like a 1 or 0, and then it will go to storage stage, where it will be stored in the memory. And then the information, of course, stored temporarily in the memory, but it will go for further processing here, where you will have it. If instructed to do so, the information will be edited and enhanced to be output. And so it will go to output, where the information can be brought out, maybe through a printer. It can be sound. It can be brought out through a projector. Anything that can do that work very well. So all of the equipment, basically hardware, and the instructions, software needed to complete the above steps are described in the next stage where we are going to look at processing. So how does the computer process? What kind of processing does it follow? Amazingly, the information that the user inputs into a computer is processed so that it becomes a simple code made up of only 2 digits, 0 and 1. For all its complexity, a computer is only able to handle these 2 choices. This is because it is based on electrical signals that have only 2 options, that is either on or off. So before we go further, let's try to understand also what we call a computer system. A computer system is simply a combination of software, data, hardware, and the user. So look at this image and try to understand it better. So but computers compensate for this very simple code by using it in huge quantities. A single unit of this 0 or 1 code is called a bit. Grouping 8 bits together makes a unit of information called a byte. Typing a single page of typed text on a computer requires a minimum of 200 kilobytes or 20 KB or 200 or 20,000 bytes of information to be stored. Good quality digital photograph is usually 1 megabyte or larger. So a computer is a very busy machine indeed. Another term that you need to know is the information technology, or IT. This is a general term which relates to the use of computers as an aid to creating and maintaining data or information. IT is related to all aspects of managing and processing information, especially within large organizations. So you find people who are doing that work, they are known as IT consultants, and they are involved in information management and processing. Computers are critical to managing information, and computer departments within large organizations are often called IT departments. Alternative phrases are information service or management information services. People working with computers within large companies will often refer to their job as working in IT, and they call themselves IT consultants, IT experts. Now, let us try to understand also types of computers. There are several types of computers. Even these days, when you're moving in a taxi, you see people holding tablets, iPads, you see phones here and there. So we need that information also to understand well how computers differ. Generally, there are many types of computers, but personal computers such as desktops and laptop computers are probably the 2 types of computers that you think of first. Otherwise, new types are emerging every day. Did you know that there are hidden computers? Hidden computers are there. So one kind of computer is called a hidden computer. It hides inside another device. For example, a computer hides inside your digital watch. It computes how the time is changing. A computer also hides inside your pocket calculator, your cell phone, your video game machine, your microwave oven, and in your car's dashboard. Though non-technical folks call such computer hidden, computer experts call it an embedded computer instead. Okay, so since they call it embedded computer because it is embedded in another electronic device, or more commonly an embedded computer system or an embedded system. So if you meet a person whose career is developing embedded systems, that person invents computers that hide inside other devices. Such a computer dedicates its entire life to performing just one task, such as telling the time, or it's also called a dedicated computer. So that's the type. Now, many people may not know about it and may not even agree that it's there, but those computers are there, which are embedded into other systems, like embedded in mobile phones and others. But let's now look at the common ones, what we understand most, the common computers that we know. These are visible computers, the opposite of invisible or embedded. If a computer isn't hidden in another device, it is called a visible computer. If the visible computer is used by just one person at a time, what's the name of it? What name is given to that one? So it is called a personal computer, or PC, simply because it is used by one person at a time. Yeah, like the common ones you see in offices, like this one appearing in this picture. So that's simply a desktop computer, but it is a PC. Even a laptop is a PC because it is used by one person at a time. If a visible computer is used by many people simultaneously, it is called a powerful server. Now, the powerful server manages many other computers and lets them share info with each other. The typical powerful server is big. It sits in a corner of the room, or even fills a whole room, or it can even fill several rooms. So powerful servers are used by big international organizations such as international banks, can also be used by credit card companies, insurance companies, to manage their records and the people who want to use them. And the next type of computer is that's standalone desktop, which is not a server but a standalone desktop. So a standard desktop computer is a personal computer that is too big to carry in one hand. It sits on a desk, but it has four main parts. Part 1 is a keyboard that lets you type commands to the computer. It also has a screen to display that shows you the computer's answers. It also has a mouse that you roll across your desk to indicate which part of the screen interests you, and then you click there. So the system unit, which is a box holding the computer's brain and memory. Of course, when people mistakenly call it CPU everywhere, mostly in Uganda we call it a CPU, that system unit. But from today onwards, let's give it the right name. That's a system unit. So in a standard desktop computer, each of those four parts is a separate device. Wires run out of the system unit to the keyboard, screen, and the mouse, so the system unit can communicate with them. Here are two comments about the system unit. Two comments. Take note about these two comments about the system unit. If the system unit is taller than it is wide, it's called a tower, like the one we see in the photo. The typical system unit is a tower that is 15-inch tall and 15-inch front to back, but just 7 inches wide. Try to understand that. If your desk is too small or too cluttered with so many documents here to include, so that it cannot accommodate that system unit, put the system unit on the floor, especially if the floor is clean, it's not dusty. Put it under the desk or next to the desk. That is as far as the tower is concerned. In most offices you find it just under the desk, and that is commendable. And we have others which are wide, like this one you see in the photo, which is simply called a desktop, and very many of those. So many people use desktop computers or desktops, as they are often referred to at work. They use at school, at home, the library. They can be small, medium, or large in style, and usually sit on a desk. So the term desktop computer originated when the computer case was wide and flat, and it was designed specifically to fit on a desk. So you'll use those examples. Okay, so most desktop computers are easy to upgrade and expand or add new parts. In addition to expandability, another benefit of a desktop is that it is cheaper than a laptop, and it's cheaper than all these other smaller components, because you can buy it at 1 million, at half a million, any amount, negotiable. You can buy a desktop compared to a laptop or an Apple tablet. So here is how other computers differ. We are looking at others. In a wireless desktop, the keyboard and the mouse communicate with the system unit by radio waves instead of wires. That's a wireless desktop. Another one is in an all-in-one computer. An all-in-one computer, there is no separate system unit. Instead, the computer's brain and memory hide behind the screen. In the same case, that includes the screen. So those ones are also there. You look at them. So you see several photos. So the term desktop computer is vague. It means a standard desk computer or wireless computer or all-in-one computer. In a desktop computer system, how big is the screen? If the system is modern, its screen size measured diagonally from corner to opposite corner is between 18.5 and 27 inches. The most common size is 20 inch. If the system is older, its screen is smaller, between 12 inches to 18.5 inches. What are the parts of the desktop computer? You have already learned that a typical desktop computer's main part is the box called the system unit. The typical system unit is a tower that is 15 inches tall and 15 inches from front to back, but just 7 inches wide. Now let us take a closer look at what we see on a system unit there. 7 cables. Out of the system unit's rear come 7 cables. One of those cables is the power cord. It goes to the power source or electricity. Another cable goes to the keyboard, which looks like a typewriter, to send the typed messages to the computer. And then we also have one cable goes to the monitor, which looks like a TV set. It contains a screen that shows the words you type and the computer's answers and the pictures. One cable goes to the mouse, which is a small box about the size of a pack of cigarettes. If you slide the mouse across your desk, the arrow moves across your computer screen. So to move the screen's arrows, slide the mouse. To manipulate an object on the monitor screen, slide the mouse until the screen's arrow moves so that the object, then press the mouse's left button. Another cable goes to the printer, which you can use for printing. Another cable may also go to the speaker, which can bring out sound in case you want to listen to the music. And the final cable goes towards other computers, especially if you are using a network. So those are some of the cables that can be very useful in doing our work. Then other types of computers are laptops. A laptop is a smaller computer. It is small enough to carry in one hand and use in your lap, though using it is more pleasant if you rest it on a desk. But of course, you don't call it a desktop. To let the laptop be carried in one hand, excuse me, it is built using these tricks. The computer's brain and memory hide under the keyboard. In the same case, that includes the keyboard. The keyboard is attached to the screen by a hinge, so you can pick the keyboard and screen up by a small handle, and having a hinge is called a clamshell design. Opening and closing the laptop is like opening and closing a clamshell. Open the laptop to use it, close it, and transport it. So to indicate which part of the screen interests you, you don't have to use a mouse. Instead, you just rub your finger across a touchpad on the keyboard surface. So the laptop doesn't require or does not include a mouse. But since using the touchpad is awkward, you'll be happier if you buy a mouse and move with it in a bag so that you can connect and do your work. Now, currently, there are several types of laptops. So, laptops mainly come in two sizes. If a laptop is about the size of a student's 3-ring binder notebook, it's called a notebook computer, or it can be called a classmate. So if the laptop is even small enough to fit in a woman's clutch purse, it's called a netbook, because it is the minimum size needed to handle the internet well, though the internet is more pleasant if you use a bigger computer instead, such as a notebook and others, or a desktop. How big is the screen? Is the screen? For a notebook computer, the screen size is about 11.5 inch to 17.5 inch. Even others may be as small as that. But for a modern netbook, the screen size is between 10 to 11 inches. But 10.5 is very, very common. So the next size is called a modern tablet. A modern tablet computer. It is so small that you can use it while holding it in your two hands. Okay. You don't need a lap or desk to rest on it, though resting it on a desk can be more helpful. To let the modern tablet be used with a lap or a desk, it is built using tweaks. These tweaks. So there is no mouse or touchpad. Instead of using a mouse or a touchpad, you tap directly on the screen. Such a screen which can detect your taps and touches is called a touch-sensitive screen. There is no keyboard. Instead of having a real physical keyboard, the screen shows a picture of a keyboard, and you tap on the picture. So the picture is called a virtual keyboard. The computer's brain or memory hide in the screen. So when you look at a modern tablet computer, you see just a screen. There is no mouse, no touchpad, no physical keyboard, and no separate system unit. The modern tablet's screen size is between 7 to 10 inches, with this 9.7 being the most common. Of all the modern tablet computers, the most popular is called the iPad, invented by a company called Apple in 2010. Its screen is 9.7 inches. Now other companies are inventing competitors. So if what we are looking at right now is just a summary of the basics of the computer, exactly what we have been looking at from the beginning. Now you will see that a computer is such a fabulous machine, and there are many types as you see them, ranging from small ones, ranging from handheld to larger servers and larger systems which are used. So what exactly is a computer? You can see the definition of the screen, read it on your own, and try to come up with others. But you also try to see that computers normally use dictator. They run in a binary system where they use ones and zeros. And for us here, we see on the screen, you can see a picture, you can get audio, but the computer processes using a binary system. Now there are two types of in a computer system. Normally has there is hardware and software. Now, hardware are those tangible parts, as we have already seen, and then software are those instructions which make a computer to do its work and to run effectively. The system software and application software. Also, a computer, as you see it, tends to have many types. We have what we call desktop, and we also have laptops. According to manufacturers, we have what is called the PC, made by a company called IBM, and then we also have what we call Mac or iMac, made by a company called Apple. Other manufacturers are Acer, Sony, Toshiba, and others. Then in terms of software, we have Microsoft, normally, which has its operating system known as Windows. And then we have the operating systems for such smaller computers, for these ones like the one you see here, these iPads, all of them. Then we have also powerful servers which serve the rest of the people on the network. So you may have in a school where computers are connected, then the server normally serves the rest of the computers in the system, and normally controlled by somebody called a system administrator. So all those are different computers, and this brings us to the summary of all the work we have done, and we thank all those members for the work they have done.